Well, welcome everyone. I think most of you have been here before, maybe not Leanne. So I want to welcome you to the Foundation for Conscious Living's Big Leap Home community. And this is a space where, well, first of all, I'll back up. My name is Michele Yasuda, and I'm the program director for the Foundation for Conscious Living's Big Leap Home programs. And I've had the honor of being in that position for, I think, 6+ years now. And what I want to tell you about this program that you're on right now, the Big Leap Bridge, is that it's part of the mission of the foundation to support individuals, organizations, and communities in creating agency, connection, and creativity on our shared planet. And that every time I read that, I think, yes, that's why I align with this community and the Hendricks work. And I'll take a moment to invite you to our Big Leap Home network, which is our on leak. Actually, it's called the Hendricks community now. I just remembered how to change. And it's an online gathering space for all things Hendricks. So you'll find tools and practices. You'll find out about classes like this, seminars, all kinds of stuff. So I'll put the link in the chat after I'm complete with my intro here. And I think that that's all of the things that I wanted to say. And welcome to everyone who's joining us now. So tonight I get to wear two hats. So I was wearing one of them, so I'm going to go ahead and take that one off. And I'm also here as one of the co-facilitators tonight. So Karen, remind me, am I going towards you or towards Rebecca?
I'm going toward you.
Oh, that's the beginning. That's right. Okay, well, so we have a tradition in this community that we appreciate the facilitators. And because I'm one of the facilitators tonight, I was like, oh, I forgot how we're doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and toss it over to Karen.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Karen Thompson, and I'm here to begin the beginning. I'm here to appreciate Michele Yasuda. Michele, gosh, I have so much appreciation for you that I can actually tear up here. I love you, of course, and I so appreciate how helpful and kind and generous you are. Thinking about this on my bike ride today, knowing that I'd be doing this, you working with you and being in your presence is like being in the presence of a flower blossom. It's gentle and natural and beautiful. And I so appreciate your presence.
Wow. I can see you're a master appreciator. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, now I get the pleasure of appreciating Rebecca Folsom. And Rebecca, the thing that came to mind first for me when I think of appreciating you is your rich voice. And when I say that, I don't only mean your musical career and the gorgeous music that you produce and you sing, but the tone of your voice and the presence that I feel from your voice. It's like I can feel your whole you, like you're here. And I so appreciate your integrity, your wholeness. And I have always appreciated that about you. And I feel like you've inspired me to, when I go like that, like to come into that alignment with myself. And being in your presence really it inspires me, and it reminds me really in a natural, friendly, fun way, because that's the other aspect of you that I really enjoy, which is this kind of like and lighthearted and open and so open to learn, and to and your commitment to your essence is just
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Breathing that in. Yeah, I mean, I could appreciate both of these ladies, and I'm gonna bop on over to appreciating Karen. And Karen is one of the most enthusiastic people I know on this planet, just passionately enthusiastic. And she's smart as you could possibly, she's just, I was going to say smart as a whip, but I like smart as something else. Smart as, well, who knows, a clock that's always on time. Um, she is, I so love her insightfulness and where she will just cut through something and be like, how about that? And when I'm having trouble with something where I'm like, oh, what do I need to do here? I can't find myself. I will call or text Karen and say, hey, do you have a minute, to help me with this? So that insight and enthusiasm and truly wanting the best for people. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
Mm,
starting off with appreciations.
Yay.
yummy.
Well, hey, we are so excited to be sharing this program with you today. And thank you for coming. I'm thrilled. Um, Rebecca, Michele, and I have been together for many years. Abby, you were in one of the groups with us too. Um, Throughout the pandemic, Katie offered some really great offerings. One of them was in the field, and one of them was reweaving. And I'm not remembering which was which. I think reweaving was first, and then in the field was second. Yeah. So anyway, during that time, we got paired up together a bunch, and we kept meeting after those were over. And as a result of our time together, we really focused on our own essence qualities and how we could live in them more and more. We also noticed we were not in essence quite a bit, which was fun too. So we put together a package here, and we're looking forward to sharing some of it with you today. One of the things we thought we'd start with is the oh, and let me just say, raise your hand if you have a question or if you want to say something. We'll go ahead and invite everyone to do that. Does everybody know how to do that on Zoom? Okay, I didn't know for a long time.
And if you don't know how to do it, you could literally just raise your hand.
Yeah. So we thought we'd start with the definition of essence. And speaking of my enthusiasm, thank you, Rebecca. When I read this, Merriam-Webster, I was like, oh wow, oh my God, listen to this, So I'm going to read it to you. So essence is a noun, and the first definition is the permanent as contrasted with the accidental element of being. That's A. B, the individual, real, or ultimate nature of a thing, especially as opposed to its existence. The individual, real, or ultimate nature of a thing. C, the properties or attributes by means of which something can be placed in its proper class or identified as being what it is. The second definition is the most significant element, quality, or aspect of a thing or person. Like that one. The most significant element, quality, or aspect of a thing or person. 3, one that possesses or exhibits a quality in abundance as if in concentrated form. One that possesses or exhibits a quality in abundance as if in concentrated form. I like that one too. Number 4, a constituent or derivative possessing the special qualities, and in parentheses, as of a plant or drug in concentrated form. And then the final is something that exists. My least favorite one, but oh well. The rest of them I loved so much because they really are getting at what we mean by essence. And we've come up with a simple definition of essence that we're using, and that is who you truly are, who you've always been. Who you truly are, who you've always been. Yay! So I know most of us, I'm sure if you all love the work of Gay and Katie, like we do, and all of this is based on our work with them. Of course, there are other great teachers, but they're my favorite. They're my main teachers. And so I never really knew about Essence until I met them. Had never really thought about it. Thought about personality, thought about identity, thought about all kinds of things like that, but not really the concentrated essence of who we are, So I give lots of appreciation and thanks to Gay and Katie, actually, too. And I know we all do. So I wonder if there's anything that anybody wants to say about these definitions. Did anybody get an ooh or an ah when with a particular word or anything? If so, you can just, speak up, and if not, that's okay.
I like the one about it's who you are and who you've always been.
You like that one?
That was ours.
Good job, ladies.
We beat the dictionary. Woo!
Well, you know what I love about that is I'm a grandma now, and I have gotten to watch some little ones, from a different perspective now in my life. And you can totally see essence in little bitty children. It's amazing to watch. So I know that it's who we've always been, our essence. And we can have lots of essence qualities, folks. It's not, when we talk about in concentrated form, it's not just one, thing that we are, or one, we can have lots of them. So anybody else have any reactions to the definitions?
I like the words in concentrated form. I think, just it's like really connecting with that part of ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it, quality and abundance too, and in concentrated, both abundance and in concentrated form. Yeah. Thank you.
I love the ultimate nature of a thing.
I like the permanent as contrasted by the accidental. That's pretty cool. Always, which is why we're saying you've always been, but permanent, it's not by accident. I remember asking Katie this once years and years ago, how come I ended up like this, even though I was raised that way, And she said, you were born that way. And so I went, wow, that is so great. So the permanent, we may have qualities that are really uniquely our own and really supersede any kind of learned behavior or socialization. All righty. Well, what we want to do next is talk about how do you demonstrate your essence? How do you claim your essence? And we've put together a little handout that we're going to show you. Are we ready for that, folks? Yeah, okay. Is that in the chat, Michelle, or are you gonna?
Oh, sure, I can throw it in the chat now.
Or do you want to put it up on the screen? Yeah. Either way.
Well, that's a good question. Why don't I pull it up on the screen for a bit? And that way everybody can see it really easily and see it together. So just give me a sec there. But we'd also like you all to have it. So let me see. Here it is. So you can see that, right?
Yeah.
Right. Great. I'll make it.
Can everybody see it? If anybody can't see it, let us know. So what we've done here is taken a few categories and that we can look for our essence qualities. We can notice our essence qualities, and essence qualities can be shown or demonstrated in each of these. So if you like, you can take some notes somewhere, or you can just think about it however you want to. What foods, flavors, or forms of hydration does your essence prefer?
Mm.
Colors and textures in life. Plants, botany. I would add flowers there. They're plants, but yeah, they're botany too. But sounds and music. Clothing and style. So take a moment and just start, I'm going to write a few things down. I'd like for anybody else that wants to do that. And then what we'll do is we'll come back and we'll do a little pop-up, popcorny thing with whoever wants to say something. Whoever wants to share. One thing you can be thinking about too is what, out of these categories, what have you always loved? What have you always pivoted to? What have you always, what did you like or choose as a child? For me, if you don't mind, I'll talk while I used to, as a kid, I picked the same lunch at Luby's cafeteria every Sunday. And it had fish and carrot and raisin salad. And to me, I laugh about that and I'm delighted by it because it's so essency. Because nobody else at the table ordered those things, So I evidently liked fresh food and healthy food early on in my life.
One thing that I want to say about this, what I love about this list is essence to me is almost like a poem. It's sort of like it's hard to crack the code a little bit. Like it's so in you and so part of you that you can't see it sometimes. And so these little avenues of finding, colors, texture, and then dropping down and then finding themes, between it can really help be like a little highway, through that poem. So it makes it a little bit more obvious what your essence is to you.
I love that, Rebecca. A
Mhm.
poem.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of mysterious, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this makes it a little more concrete because we're going through our senses, to understand our essence. Looks like Dawn has her hand raised.
Yay.
I think, hey, I think it's like you can hear it in someone's laugh. I hear it in my own laugh when I'm just like laughing without any restraint. I have kind of a goofy, like it literally sounds like goofy just a little bit, and everyone like makes fun of it, but I'm like, that's my laugh. And then the smell of Tulsi holy basil. I just love to rub my fingers through it, and I'm like, it's just so full of essence for me. And I love walking through my garden, but my favorite smell is the Tulsi basil.
Thank you.
And I'm curious, what is the smell of Tulsi basil? Like
it has not at all a basil smell. It's kind of like a floral smell. It's I can't describe it. It smells holy.
there's the
smells
poem. There's the poem part.
Yeah. It smells holy. It smells unique, and it smells like nothing I've ever smelled before. Yeah.
Yeah. So it maybe another question would be like, how does it make you feel when you smell that? Like,
Oh, I just feel like it's kind of wrapped around me, and I'm like, feel safe.
Yeah.
I love that, Dawn.
Thank
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You brought to mind a memory of Lily of the Valley, which I don't get to smell anymore. I lived on the East Coast and it was not everywhere, but I would see it. Lilacs are another that are much more on the East Coast. And when I when I even think about that, I'm brought back to childhood. And it's amazing to me that the memory of the scent can bring me to that period of time and bring me joy. And that's what came up when you brought up your connection with that scent. Yeah.
You know, when I was looking at mine, I saw like rich and saturated colors and plush and soft and flowy fabrics and things. And then even like food would be the healthy, vibrant foods. And what clothing was like flowing but dramatic. And I thought, boy, there's a theme, you know, it's like it's got to have some kind of richness to it, you know, some kind of drama, you know, to it. But it also for me has to be what not has to be, but what feels really good to me is something that is rich, you know, rich in experience, like rich in life, like the marrow of life in things. And I would
There's
say
that.
that's definitely part of my essence is like I want the experience to be deep, you know, all the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's funny that I used that about your voice, right? Like that comes through, your essence comes through in that richness of your voice.
Mm.
I love that. I love it's
I'm
gorgeous.
curious to hear other people's too.
Yeah,
What
I'm
came
gonna
up
bring
with.
us back in the space, and I'll put this in the chat one more time so that if you want to work on this again later. But yeah, I'd love to hear from others.
I can share.
Thanks, Kristana.
So it's kind of like a mix of a lot of those prompts, but I wrote down fresh foods, nature, easy, comfy, soft vibrations, calming, evergreens, lush, soft lines, earthy.
Mm.
A lot of nature influence for sure.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Earthy.
Mine really focused on a sense of glow, sort of this radiance in myself that I almost like take a second glimpse as I look in the mirror and I was like, oh, who's that? Like with a smile and a joy and a surprise. And when you talk about the different senses, it brings back to mind the times I was traveling to California and meeting with you in person. And I would feel so nourished by the warmth and the flowers and the freshness of the food and how completely it matched the energy in a Hendricks training and the people that I got to meet. It's like I would lose the pounds that were based on insecurity or safety and protection. And I was just opening more deeply into myself, which is this mirror of who I am. And I feel like I'm still learning that and exploring. And that's really reflected, and the opportunity is birthed in these groups.
Yum.
Yeah, that was really yummy. Yeah, wow, you took me on a journey there. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Bernie, because what I realize is that, yes, we all support our essence qualities. You know, we not only see them, but we help create them, help create awareness of them and support it. Contrast that to something non-essency, which would be, you know, more competitive or something else. I don't know. I don't even want to think about anything else. That's what we do all the time. Yeah. Thank you for that.
I'm loving how when people are sharing their essence, like how nourishing it is to hear and to be in relationship with you and be in like the resonance of you being in your essence. Very contagious and feels very uplifting.
I'm going to share a few more of mine if that's okay with y'all. Instead of the fish and the carrot and raisin salad. Okay, so I am crazy about Gerber daisies. Okay. It's one of my favorite flowers. And these are a little tired. I'll replace them soon. But yeah, the color, the vibrant color is just so incredible. And I see a theme here among mine. So I kind of like simplicity, and I kind of like the basics of things. You know, I kind of like a sweatshirt that has this cool thing over here, you know, but it's comfortable and it's a basic black, but it's a little, you know, a little zing. So yeah, so there's a natural, a basic, a Gerber daisy. I love songs. I love Van Morrison, one of my favorite. I Van all the time. I love the colors of the sky are some of my favorite colors. So I think I'm creating a theme of I'm not even sure yet, but it's something to do with nature or the essentials. There we are back at essence. No wonder I like it, the theme of essence. But the basics, the essentials, what's really important. Yeah. Some of my thoughts.
Yeah. Love that. All right.
Anybody have an essence name that they want to share?
I'll share mine. My essence name is Luna, and that came to me many years ago I have a small group of women that we were very close and really we experienced ritual together, and we all chose a name that was, I would say now, an essence name. I didn't have that name before. Oh, the flower. Yay. Is that a girl? Oh, that's great. Oh,
You
that's great,
too.
Margie. Oh my gosh, that's so fabulous. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? Essence name?
All right, I have one, and I recently learned it in Cherokee, which I think I'm 1/16 Cherokee. So my actual name is Dawning Star. And I recently looked it up about a week ago, and I was like, how come I don't know how to say Dawning Star in Cherokee? So my name is Nadon Kaladar Nagoski.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I like that. It took me a while to remember it, though.
One more time. Yeah.
Nado Kalagar Noski.
Wow.
Yep.
Thank you.
Fabulous.
So I don't resonate with the name Karen and never really have, which is interesting. But I also don't resonate with changing my name. You know, that doesn't appeal to me. So I've been thinking that what I do resonate with, maybe this is my essence name. It's the way my parents spelled it was Karen, you know, which is a little too ordinary for me, even though I do like basics. But Karyn. I love that. And I might change it to that. That feels more essence-y. Karyn. I've actually never seen it anymore.
That's the zing. That's the zing.
That's right.
I love that. I love that. That doesn't surprise me, Karen, because I have a special Karen in my life, my cousin, one of my first cousins, and her name is Caryn.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
Oh,
C, but
yeah.
a C. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's exciting. Oh, I love that idea.
Well, I'm going to hand off to Rebecca now. Are we ready for that, Rebecca?
Well, I just was curious if there was anyone else who was, you know, maybe shy or quieter that would want to say something. Yeah.
I just want to say I chose my name. So I feel like I chose my name when I was 10. So I was between like Abby and Emma, and I still feel like, yeah, it fits. Like, even though, you know, I at 10 years old, I was like we were something simple and like, so I just, yeah, I just appreciate my 10-year-old for making the right choice.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so great that you got to do that.
Wonderful, Abby.
I'll go. If I may. My going through the essence preferences, and this just made so much sense to me because it's smooth and creamy and warm and cozy and lush, beautiful, strong, bright colors I love. And soft, silky, warm, soft, flowy, rich textures. And I love I love sunflowers, and I love the daisies with the bright. There's a particular color I like, which is like either a beautiful pink, which is kind of a soft pink, and then not it's sort of a bright, I don't know how to explain it, but anyway, beautiful pink. It has to be just the right shade. and there's these gorgeous ones that are really orange with kind of a red center, and I really love those. And I love the smell of the very subtle smell, like if you go right up to a magnolia tree, I don't know if you have those, and a tea rose we have in our front garden. You really have to kind of get right into the flower and inhale deeply to smell the scent. It's very subtle. It's really beautiful. And just roses in general, certain roses I really love. In clothing, happy dance music, and also very soft music, gentle music. And the clothing style that was interesting, I've got comfy, stylish, smart, and simple. I don't like to fuss too much, but I want to look cool, but they're not really comfortable as well.
Wow.
Fantastic.
The color you have on looks like the pink you were describing in the flower.
Yeah, it's actually not, but it's it's bright. I like it. Thank you.
I can
So I
share
haven't thought of a
I can
name.
share my list.
Yeah.
Oh, where did it go? Hang on. Okay, rich chocolate, burgundy, blue-green colors, soft velvety fabric, stargazer lilies, ferns, and jasmine, harmony and resonance, and flowing clothes.
Feels rich and magical. Yeah, is anybody else sort of noting how poetic it is? It's like just a little hard to put your finger on, but you know it. Like it's hard to get your mind to like exactly say what it is, but our bodies know it. We know when it's like, oh, that. Yes. Yeah. So I'm going to take it into the next piece that we're going to talk about. And this is talking about what is not essence. And sometimes really figuring out what our essence is by figuring out what it isn't. So what we just were having at that experience of, oh, yum, that, yes, to go into a feeling, really that's a big yes. It's like your body just going, yes, this fulfills me. It actually feeds my aliveness. And I think that basic question, does this feed my aliveness or not, is a great way to understand and find your map, to your essence. And so go ahead and just take a minute and picture a food that is really not your essence, that is one that a food or a flower or, something. We're not going to spend a lot of time here, but what we want to do is get that body feeling of like, oh yeah, not that, there's yeah. So I'm trying to find a food.
Rebecca, I know one. Do you mind?
Okay, go for it.
So I was thinking about this, what's not, you know what? You'll never catch me drinking a smoothie. I don't like frozen drinks. It's interesting, but I love a warm tea or a coffee. It's fascinating, isn't it? So that's a note for me. Of course I drink, I hydrate, but and it's cold, but I don't choose a frozen drink. What interesting.
Yeah. So you can do the same thing with this list: colors, textures, plants, botany, sound, music, clothing style. And I think a real obvious one for me is I cannot wear clothes that are starchy and stiff. Like I feel absolutely suffocated in clothes like that, and in situations like that. I like things that move. That's a piece for me. Like flow is really, really important around that. So go ahead and just try it on. So like if I try on wearing really tight sort of boxed, clothing like that, what happens in my body? It definitely, my aliveness decreases, and I feel like, I just want to kind of get out of it, like in my body is really saying no. So I'm curious what if you guys have some of those, and give us a little bit of what happens in your body when you think about that. Mm.
I don't wear belts either.
Mm.
Just come to think of it. So, because you know what? I just feel like, restricted,
Mhm.
in my body. My body feels, I think I feel heavy in it if I've got a belt around it, So I feel
Yes.
like it doesn't fit right, or, there's something wrong.
No, I think, you touching in on the word of restricted, it's like that is not your essence. Your essence is not, I mean, my sister, really loves tailored, fit clothes, and she runs her life like really more, that way. And it works so well for her. Like, that's so great, but it is so not my essence. And I see that with your restrictedness and your belt. Yeah. And Dawn, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, so I break out in hives if I wear scratchy wool next to my skin. Like that kind of wool sweater that's really coarse, and I actually break out in hives. So even the feel of it, I'm imagining it, and it's like, whoa, that's not for me. So yeah, I tried on some sweaters and I was like, get it off. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I love that. I was thinking about the foods, and I've never really liked fish. I went through a short time where I ate it, but when I think of fish in general, I kind of go like that. So it's a contraction, a kind of just pulling away. And at the same time that can appreciate someone else enjoying it, it's not it's the my personal, like, but push it over by me, and it's kind of like that.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Just been absorbing sort of the first half of trying to narrow down a list, and I find it going from like warm and cozy meals to really fresh and citrusy to I love deep classical, but I also really love my soul and my rock. And this phase of the conversation has led me into more where I'm at, I think, in general right now when it comes to essence, is recalling times in my life where I was out of essence and not feeling very alive. Because that's the best I can do right now. I'm struggling with my poem for the moment, but I went to school in California. I'm from Montreal, Canada, and California is so beautiful. And I have never felt more out of my essence, I think, in my 35 years of life. There's no thaw after winter, which is such a particular feeling when the thaw comes and the buds come up. And there's no Indian summer into crisp, cool fall, autumn, which is, I think, where my essence lives, somewhere in that space, in that space. And I still, there's so much of California I adore, don't get me wrong. But it was the time in my life where I was like, okay, yeah, this is not where I feel most alive in my body. And it has to do with those transitory feelings of coming out of something or into something.
Wonderful. Oh,
Yeah.
I love how you found what you don't want, but you described it through what you love. It's like, it doesn't have these things, and these things are what I need.
It has so much. Yeah. Yeah. Seasons are, I think, important to how my essence clock works, if that's a thing.
Oh, an essence clock. I love it.
Love that essence clock.
Anybody else with, something that really is not your essence, and how it makes you feel?
I'd say loud, abrasive sort of voices. You know, when you're out social and you hear someone's voice across the room and it's just bellowing out across the room, that sort of, and in fact, yeah, anyway, yeah, basically that sort of loud, abrasive type of, even the tone of voice sometimes I can find, or if it's a really high pitched sort of, you know, I'm sort of sensitive to vocal sounds, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. And what does it do in your body? Like, what is your
I just want to get out of the space. Like, I just want to get up and go. I just don't want to be there. And I just feel really kind of, it can tense me up, you know, make me feel really tight and uptight. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like there's no space in there for me. It's like, you know, because if they're talking really loudly, or, you know, like it's very hard, even if they're on another table, doesn't matter, because then I can't hold a conversation anymore because their sound is just dominating the space. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that there's no space in there for me.
Mm.
I mean, I think that we could apply that to everything that people have shared about, like, this is not my essence and there's no place for me there, you know.
Yeah.
There's for me.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, you know, with that in mind, go ahead and just for a minute, what we call overrides, you know, when you know something, you have a yes to something, like you have a yes to seasons and the transitions, or you have a yes to soft on your skin, you know, or yes to flowy, in my case, something that moves. Then try on overriding that and making yourself live in California, you know, or me wearing a suit, you know, or wearing the wool sweater someone gave you for Christmas out of duty, you know, like these things that we end up doing against our essence for whatever kind of social reasons, and or we don't even know better, we're not paying attention, you know, to ourselves, and just feel what that does, you know, to be out of that alignment with self. It's, you know, for me, it's quickly deadening. I just start to lose my breath in it. Yeah. And just a moment there. Now we're gonna like throw that off and get back to essence. But it's really valuable to play with that side of the spectrum of it, is to be like, oh yeah, no, I have a no there. And what is it for me to respect my no in it? Or I have a yes, and what is it for me to honor that yes of my essence? Yeah. We do more of those overrides than we even really, you know, I would say this group probably less than most people, but there's a lot of it from our conditioning that we have done. So, you know, part of what we're encouraging here is like, how can I be in my essence more and more and more, and just allow and bequeath upon myself that, yes, I can do essence in everything, and I don't have to do anything that's against my essence. Yeah. So that's my section there.
Yay.
Yeah. And then let's see, Michele, you were going to take something, right?
Yeah, I sure am. So I would love to take everybody on a little journey. And I had one idea in mind, and I'm going to condense it a little bit because I've really been enjoying our interaction. I want to make sure that we have more time for that. And one thing I want to share is when Rebecca and Karen and I were meeting and we were talking about this, I brought up, and I think that's when it happened, in that moment. I can't remember if I had the moment before, but I was talking about I happen to live in California, and I grew up in the season, so I could feel, Christina, your whole, like everything you were describing, because I could remember and like, oh yeah, oh I love that. And also I'm not living in exactly the place that my body wants to live, and I know that. And I know the difference when I arrive somewhere. I went to Arcata, California recently, and immediately my body said, live here, live here. And I was like, oh, come on, really? But so who knows? But I can really like I had such a felt experience of openness and connection. And so Rebecca, nodding back to what you were talking about the not and the yes. So sometimes we go through times like there's a reason why, like you went to school, Christina, and you're away from where your essence body wants to be. And you had an experience there. So and that's how I feel about where I live now. There's so much good here, and my body wants something else at some point, and I've committed to that. So what happened during the call was that I was bringing up that when I take a piece of California sage, a leaf, and I just rub it gently, like you were talking, Dawn, before about, and I smell that, I have an immediate experience of connection, and I see that as an essence moment. It's a moment where I know who I am. I know what this is. It's beyond words and thoughts, and I have an experience of it. And so that's what I'd like to do with each of you is bring you on a little experience that then you can bring into any moment of the day when you might feel a little out of alignment. That's what I've been doing since then, is picking that piece of sage and smelling it, and here I am again. And so what I'm going to invite everyone to do is to get comfortable in your chair and to turn your attention inward. So you might do that by closing your eyes, or by having your gaze be down in front of you, lowering your gaze, and allowing yourself to come into a rhythm with your breath, maybe a deeper, slower breath than you usually do. Allowing that breath to come into a full open space. So breathing down into your pelvic area, letting the belly expand on that in-breath, and then letting the breath out. And just letting yourself do that in your own essence pace. A nice, easy flow of breath. And what I'd like you to do is bring to mind some place in nature. We were all talking about nature tonight, I think, in one way or another. Some place in nature that you know you love. And let yourself, in your mind's eye, travel to that place. And when you arrive, let yourself be resting in a really comfortable space within that context that you're bringing into your mind, into your space. Notice the textures around you, the temperature of the air on your face. There might be a scent in the air. And let yourself feel the feeling of love, of connection that you have for this place. And let it fill you as if a light was moving through your body right now. And breathe and be with that for a few breaths. This feeling of love and connection. And recognize yourself in that love and connection. That all the beauty you see around you, the scent in the air, all of that beauty is within you, the essence of you. There's something inside of you that recognizes the connection, recognizes essence, recognizing essence. And then there might be one item in that area that you can, it might be like my sage, where you can reach out and bring it closer to you. So allow yourself to do that. Something in the space that you can reach out and then bring close to you, and Allow yourself to feel the texture and the scent. And breathe it in. And know that this moment of essence, you can bring yourself back to it anytime. And so allowing yourself to give an appreciation for this space and come to a gentle completion. And when you feel ready, you can bring yourself back into the space together and allow your eyes to open when you're ready. Yeah. Yeah, it's a really amazing thing, the mind and the senses, that we can conjure up this experience of essence of life with our own mind. What a gift that is. I'd love to hear from all of you about that experience and anything you want to share, really from the whole evening, but from that particular experience as well. So just go ahead and raise your hand or.
You know, one thing I'd love to toss out there too, Michele, that was just so beautiful, is, you know, as we're kind of winding up or winding down or whatever we're doing, winding, we had written something about essence that was aligning who you are with how you choose to live. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to put that out in the field as along with.
Thank you, Rebecca. Yeah, Cherry.
Oh, that was so beautiful. Thank you. I really, really went with that, and actually was taken to a place, and I remember I was sitting right up high on a, I guess, above the ocean and on a beautiful coastline, and all bush around me and nature around me, and I was looking out over the ocean and had that big distant view, and I was meditating, and I just remember that it was a particularly special moment, and so it just took me into all those senses, you know, the soft breeze on my skin and the sounds of nature, and you know, and then I imagine myself down on the sand and just lying on the sand in the sun, the warmth of the sun, you know, just radiating that through the sand up warm on my back and the sun on my front of my body, and just really beautiful. And that meditation, I was wearing a hat, and this little bird, I don't know why, I had my eyes closed, so I didn't even know, I just felt this little bird just go pop on my hat, and it walked all around my hat like this, and I was just sitting there, and then it popped down on the ground, and I sort of opened my eyes, and it walked all the way around me, you know, I was sitting there cross-legged on the grass, and it walked all the way around me like that, and it was just hanging around. And someone else saw it, and they said, "Well, you've made a friend." And it was like a little baby bird, and young one. And then when I went to leave, it was just hanging out with me. Then when I went to get up and leave, it just started following me. I had to sort of say, "Oh, you know, go back to your mum." Bird. Anyway, but yeah, it was just, I was feeling so connected to nature. It was just such a gorgeous experience, and you just took me right back there. Thank you.
Well, thank you for bringing us there. And I was really realizing how it's like, it's an essence moment that I love that you have that connection to it. And perhaps now it's fresher in your mind and you can draw on it even more. That image is just gorgeous. Thank you so much. Dawn.
Yeah, thank you. I agree with is it Sherry?
Cherry, like the fruit.
Carrie, okay. Yeah, I agree with you, Carrie. That was wonderful, and I let myself settle into the hike that I did on Sunday, and the river is mostly kind of calm, but with the hurricane, and I'm in Virginia and around Charlottesville area, and with all of the flooding, we didn't get flooded out like southern, like South and Asheville, North Carolina, but we had a lot of rain, and so I waited, and I was like, oh, it's a couple, a week or so, and then we went up hiking, and I took my dog, and the river and the waterfalls, they were roaring, and I had never seen that before or heard it before, and it was kind of thrilling. I was like, this is a little bit scary, but it was so much fun, and it was the power of the water. And then Augie, my golden retriever, he's been in and out of the screen periodically. He was having just the best time. Yeah. And so I kept on looking at him, and I'm like, oh, he is loving life right now. And so, that's what I thought of. And I was like, just appreciating the sun on my face and the kind of like light breeze. And I was like, this is just perfect weather. It was like 72, and I was wearing layers, but I was like, I am very comfortable right now. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for allowing us to experience that with you. Really. Yeah. I'm noticing the time here. Yeah. Cherry, did you have something? Or did you, or was your, it went back. That was funny. It was because Dawn moved and then it left you. So it looked like you raised your hand again. No, that's, so I see where it's time for us to begin to come down for a landing. So I'm going to turn the call over to Karen or Rebecca if you have anything more you want to add. I feel like that. I'll bodify it.
I had just two little things. One was that what you said, essence moments, and that like really getting the power of essence moments, that we build, more of those essence moments, and, that we sort of build a life from the little blocks of essence moments. So even just allowing ourselves to go into our minds for a moment to go to those places opens up that essence moment for us. So I really liked that. And the other one is when we find ourselves in a place where we're criticizing ourselves, or like we don't like a part of our body, or we don't like a part of our life or something like that, is really bringing that essence moment, sort of like the juice or the honey of it, the gold light of it, to that place in our body. So really letting the essence, that feeling of essence, which really is love, that there's letting that then move into any places where we feel disharmonious, with ourselves in some way.
Love it. Yay.
Me too.
Wow.
We can always go back there.
Yeah.
So thank you for that beautiful meditation, because now we know we have the felt experience of our essence through a place. And we know that there are many other ways that we feel essence. And so maybe notice the essence moments in your life. I mean, that could be a nice invitation, let's all do that.
Yeah, I love that. Well, looks like we're coming in for a landing. This is the time where I would normally thank the facilitators. I'm going to do that. I'm going to thank myself and Karen and Rebecca and all of you for co-creating this beautiful collage of essence. And I want to let you know, I as Karen mentioned at the beginning, Karen and Rebecca and I have been joining together for, I don't know, at least 2-3 years, whatever it is, and playing with this. And we've actually created a program because we've loved this so much. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, you can let us know. Actually, I'll throw a PDF in the chat. And if you want to learn about it, you're welcome to grab that. And I want to thank all of you for being a part of the Hendricks community and weaving your essence with ours today. So thank you. Thank you.